That area just above the flirt lines, just below the bottom ring of that Mercury or that little finger, are your relationships and your marriages. These horizontal lines sit between the top of the heart line and the bottom of the ring on that little finger. There's a timeline there, and you divide these up into 3 sections. Now, coming up from the bottom, that first section is your 20s and 30s, the middle section is your 40s and 50s, and that third section is 60 and above. You'll read those lines beginning from the back of the hand, which is the start of the relationship or the marriage, towards the palm, which is later on. The lighter lines will be relationship lines, and the darker ones, the more prominent lines, will stand out and have a great density and color to them, reflect your marriages. And as we take a look at the horizontal lines on the edge of the right hand, and we can see that first marriage line, it's kind of a really light line. They usually barely show up if they're under 5 years. But then you get this second marriage line that's a really strong line. Has a good color to it. Oh, you see some contention lines on the bottom of it there, but you see a lot of very positive lines on the top. And then we don't see any other marriage lines beyond that. Now, in order to find a timeline on that, when you'll actually get married, we go over to the fate line and we look for a little Y that sprouts off of there, and it comes in and has a little dot. And you've got one right there around 56 years old. That's an opportunity to marry. But it's a very strong marriage line. Now, the children lines come down vertically from the bottom of that ring around the Mercury finger, and you count them from the inside of your palm to the outer edge. And these can be biological children, stepchildren, adopted, godchildren, or nieces and nephews. Any child that you build a strong bond with. And as we take a look at those vertical lines, and they come off that bottom ring of that pinky finger, and you have 2 very strong children lines there, then you have a little gap and a bunch of little lines behind that. Those are grandchildren. We don't usually count those grandchildren in your hands. Those are better counted in your children's hands. But you have 2 very strong lines. Now, these don't necessarily have to be biological children. They could be adopted children, godchildren, nieces, nephews, any child that you have a strong bond with. But you have 2 very strong lines there.